Kyi Wright, and there's Coach Jarrett Samuels of Farrell, and obviously a big time for you, Kyi. Exciting time. Last night you announced, as you can see on that shirt there, that you're going to be going to Pitt. It's got to be an exciting time for you and your family.
Yes, sir. It's a great time for me and my family. I'm just excited to get there and see what's in store.
The process itself, what was the best parts of this process? You obviously had a lot of schools interested in you, and what was maybe the most challenging part of the process?
The most challenging part of the process is breaking down each school and just really wanting to know what you want in the school and deciding that way.
And what was the best part about it?
The best part was getting to take trips and meet all the new people and meet new friends.
You mentioned the process of looking at the schools. What eventually put Pitt on top for you?
Eventually, that put Pitt on top was the great education that they have, and I want to say the great relationship that I have with the coaching staff there.
And also, I assume it was nice that it was close for your mom to come watch you play.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd imagine. As you looked at some of the schools, and I'm sure you've had some help with some advice, a guy like Robert Trudeau or somebody that's been through this process. What were some of the suggestions that some of these guys gave you?
Some of the suggestions were just take it a day at a time and don't rush in anything, and make sure you know what you want to like. Make sure that you pick the school that you want to go to.
You mentioned Pitt was the place. You've been down there many times. What stands out in your mind about the campus and the program itself?
With the campus, I think it's a great campus. It's easy to get around, and the Pitt itself, it was just great. The coaching staff there, they're enthusiastic, and you can tell that Pitt is we're on a way to do great things.
I know there's people asking why now. Why did you make the commitment? Last night. Why not wait? What was your decision-making process?
The decision-making process was that it was better to get it out the way before my senior year started, so that way I can be focused on the season.
And there's a big relief off your shoulders, I imagine.
Yes, sir.
Who have you heard from over the last, maybe 18 hours? I'm sure you've had a lot of responses on your phone from friends and family all around.
Yes, sir. A lot of friends and family from out on the West Coast. A lot of the Pitt fans have been like commenting and following me on Twitter. All of my friends, it's been great.
I did a sports minute on it a couple weeks ago about your class, the class of 2019, not just at Farrell but in Mercer County, how
yes, sir.
Really special has stood out. Not just you, and you have Jordan and Christian Lewis and Jaquay Hubbard and Logan Lutz and Maceo Austin. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yes,
what
sir.
makes this class special in your mind?
I feel like what makes our class special is that we get after it, and we're all competitive, and we like to compete and just be the best that we can be.
Does it feel like you guys kind of feed off each other?
Yes, sir. I think we feed off each other just a little bit. Just talking to each of those guys and getting to know each other, I feel like it drives us to be better.
Growing up in Farrell, obviously you've had some God-given skills given to you, and you're in a very competitive community that loves its sports. How have you dealt with the added pressure, knowing that at a pretty young age you were pretty talented?
Honestly, I don't really feel the pressure. It's just like I feel like just doing what I do best is basically just good enough.
Obviously, this is the highest moment of your athletic career last night. Your lowest, I assume, had to be the injury and the frustration level of not being able to be on the field with your teammates.
Yes, sir. Last night was the highest, and the injury was definitely the lowest part. But the injury, it just gave me time to grow and mature as a person and as a player, and learn the game of football from like a coaching standpoint rather than playing.
How has your game changed in your mind from the first time you put a helmet on to this year?
I feel like my game has changed a lot, just basically because of the different positions I played growing up, and my love for the game has changed more because growing up I started off loving basketball, but now I love football.
You mentioned basketball. When was that moment in your mind you said, you know what, I think football is going to be my sport?
That moment came after I got my first offer from Pitt, and that's when my mindset really changed. That football was probably the sport for me.
Was there any sadness about that? I know you love the game of basketball.
Just a little bit, but I got over it.
Now, big question is, and I'll ask your coach here also, moving into your senior year, what position will Kyi Wright play on his football team offensively?
I think I'll let my coach answer.
Coach, you want to give out some any insight?
Quarterback.
He's going to be back at quarterback.
Back to quarterback.
And I'm sure you love that, because that means you're part of the play every time the ball snaps.
Yes, sir. Just ready to get out there and be a leader for my team.
Now, your football team obviously will have the proverbial bullseye on your back, because you're going to be going in, I assume, number one in the state. You have to relish that opportunity and challenge.
Yes, sir. We're just taking it day at a time. We know we have a bullseye on our back, so every day we go to practice and during workouts, we're just competing to get better and learn to play with each other as a team.
Coach Samuels, you're right here. Obviously, you know this young man here, and you've been a part of his growing up in maturity. What makes him stand out in your mind?
I call him Giant. You know, I always called him Giant since he was little. Not because he was one of the bigger kids, but even as a young person growing up, he always rose to the occasion. There was no stage big enough for him. That's why I always call him Giant. And he's just always been a very coachable young man. And being that he's also a family member, been able to just coach him hard. And I thank his mother for letting us, coach him hard, show tough love towards him, and also nurture him as a young man growing up in this process.
And the emotional part of it, knowing that you get one more year with him, and it's going to be an exciting year, but I know you realize that there's some big goals this year at Farrell as well.
Yes, sir, absolutely. When I sat these guys down, Kyi and his classmates, a couple months ago, I told them I'm going to miss you guys. But this process has been, it's been bittersweet watching these guys go through it. At times, it can be a frustrating process. They have a lot of offers and a lot of tough decisions they got to make as young men. So, our job is to try to guide them the best way we can. And if we don't have an answer to their questions, we pick the phone up and call someone. But it's been a joyous process because, all these young men, they're maturing into really good people, and they're great students. And that's the one thing that I can say I stress with them since they were my managers. 8, 9 years old, running around in the end zone as my ball boys. We talk about academics. They seen a lot of guys come through the program that didn't make it because of the academic standpoint. And these guys rose to the challenge. And I'm most proud of that academic process for these guys.
Well, it's been a great process, Kyi Wright. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know it's going to be entertaining. We'll sit back and watch you play this year, and then get ready to watch you at Heinz Field here for the next 4 or 5 years as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, here you go, Kyi Wright. Coach, there's Mom over here. How you doing, Mom? First of many big days, I'm sure, for Kyi Wright and his family. Congratulations, Kyi.
Thank you.